Doesn't matter how technically sound your volley is. If you're choosing the wrong balls to come in with, if you're placing your volleys wrong, and or you're in the wrong position where you're expecting the volley, that is when you're going to struggle at net. In this video, I'm going to show you what kind of balls you need to come in with, what you're doing with your volleys, and how to cover the court. I'll share with you the play pattern that helped me be a really good volleyer. So let's take a look. You want to shrink your court in 3 balls. What the heck does that mean? It means that including your approach shot, you have 3 balls with which to win the point. And that takes a whole lot of pressure off the approach shot, because a lot of people are overhitting their approach shot because they don't necessarily trust their volleys and they're just going for broke, they miss. So shrinking the court means I'm hitting a high quality approach shot, a transition volley that most likely you will play around the service line, and then with the second volley, your 3rd ball in total, you've got your opponent so much on the rope that the spaces that they have to pass you or to lob you are so small that in effect you've shrunk your court and you have an easy put away volley. And that is the one that you can hit from here. This is hardly ever where you hit your very first volley. An analogy, think about boxing. Unless you're Muhammad Ali, you're not gonna boom, knock somebody out with the first cross. You're using your jabs to set up your strength. So think about the approach shot and the transition volley as your boom, boom, jab, and then the knockout. So what kind of ball do you need to come in with and get into a good first volley position? Definitely not a ball that pushes you far behind the baseline, because it takes you too long to get into an ideal volley position, because you have to split step as they're about to make contact. And you may then be forced to split step somewhere around here. And that obviously is not a really good volley position. If you have both of your feet inside the baseline, I've said it in a bunch of videos before, if you have both of your feet inside the baseline and you have your body weight going forward and then you take an aggressive steps, you're able to come into your ideal first volley position. And that is about a good step, a yard inside the service line. You need a short ball, but also not a ball that pulls you very far out wide. Because if I'm now coming in down the line, you already see here what the problem is. Even if I get depth-wise into a pretty good volley position, I'm leaving everything open here. Same thing if I would take the same ball here and I'm going cross court, now to come in with and get into my ideal volley position and my bisector of an angle, I have to sprint to somewhere about here, and by that time the line is still open or my opponent can go right back behind me. You need a ball that is a little shorter, that allows you to step in inside the baseline, and that is in the inner third of the court. Hit your approach shot and your first goal is to come inside the service line. The second thing that I'm seeing a whole lot is that people get to a position, they split step, but they never move out of the split step. Remember, it's not a stop step. This is a classical example of getting stuck around the service line. So we have Paul here in the foreground, coming in, and he's moving in, and he is split stepping at the right time. And that does happen to be right on the service line. So we see here his opponent is making contact, he's split stepping. That is perfectly fine. However, now that the ball is in the air, Paul is not taking any other movement forward, and you see now he has a very, very low volley, and that's a really difficult ball to play here. Your split step is just there to balance you and give you the opportunity to move towards the ball. And I mean move. Split and stop, that's not what we want to do. Split and then continue to move towards the ball. Out of your split step, keep moving forward. Try to get the volley as high as possible over the net. Because if we have a stop step and we let the ball drop, we get to our next problem. It's to force yourself to hit a really, really difficult volley. So we see that here, Paul in the background now is coming in, and his opponent is hitting a pretty good return, low. So from this moment on here, the ball's below the net line, you need to lift it, which makes it a little slower. So there are a few options, either going deep, so your opponent has to cover a lot of ground, you go right back behind them, or even chip the ball a little shorter. But what you don't want to do is try an outright drop shot ball here. So you hit your approach shot, you're hopefully split stepping at the right time, in the right position. What do I do now with this volley? If I don't split step or I stop step, a lot of times you will get very low volleys. And people are trying to hit volleys out of that position that they simply don't have. Leave the volley drop shot to Carlos Alcaraz. What you want to accomplish with your first volley is to keep shrinking the court. So if I have a volley below net line or around net level, I want to go deep. I'm going to just make my opponent move more, because off my approach shot, a lot of times they still manage to get the ball either down to my feet and or hit the ball fairly hard. So to try to go for a winner volley, difficult. My second volley, most of the time, is the ball that I can catch above the net line, and that is the ball that I can hit down on. I can open angles, or of course, with your first volley, you pressured them so much they're throwing up a lob, and you can get under the ball and put that ball away. So you had your 3 approach shot, transition volley, and then put away shot. Unless you go through the middle with your approach shot, which is not a bad play because it takes away angles for your opponent, you're always going to move towards the side of the court that you're attacking. So if I'm attacking the ad side, I'm not going to move to the middle here and then cut over. That's one unnecessary change of direction. So hit your approach shot, maybe into the court, hit your approach, and then shade over. Here's your bisector of an angle, and if they pass you right on the line, that's okay. Let them do that once or twice. Did you know that you can get more and exclusive content if you join my Patreon? And if you're upgrading to Grand Slam level, you're joining our monthly live video coaching call. So go check out my Patreon.